Hello, everyone. It's a wonderful day. I'm going to cut this one off on the computer.
Yeah.
It's a day. We're happy to be here. And forgive me for that.
I was like a song without a key, and you can't get my song a melody. The sun didn't want to shine. Amen. Hey guys, I didn't know she left me out here by myself. How y'all doing today? Wonderful, wonderful. We have some great topics. I don't know what Shirley's is, but mine is. Hello, Shirley. How you doing? Just left me out by myself.
I messed up. Hello, everybody. Dear God, as we sit before you to speak, we pray to you that our soul you will keep. And if we should die before we finish, we pray to you that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. Amen. And Reedy is talking about
why some people just can't say no.
Why some people just can't say no. And mine is culture shock. And then talking about culture shock, I come around to forced assimilation. And so that is very interesting. This morning I was thinking about that. Culture shock. I'm trying to get this right. And then I said, well, you know, I know about the other part of culture shock, and I didn't know what to call it, but of course I looked it up, and it's forced assimilation. And so culture shock is when we let me get to that. I'll go. Well, Rita, you feeling good today?
Very wonderful.
I'm so happy to see you, sister. I'm happy and I'm glad you confirmed what came to my mind, because I'm thinking, why am I so sleepy? You know, I don't take stuff that much, medicine and stuff like that. But I
don't either.
Some I ordered some Benadryl yesterday, and Amazon is super, because I ordered it and I said I don't want to go into the stores, and I'm putting the plug in Amazon. I guess when I don't order for a while, they probably think I'm dead. But anyway, I had like a bump right here, and I had 1, 2 behind my ear. Then I had one on my leg, and one came up on my hand right here. Can you see it? I mean, it's not there. It's just about gone. And I'm thinking, what is this? I'm not used to this. So then I thought yesterday, I said, it came to me and said, order some Benadryl. And I ordered it yesterday evening, and Amazon got it here about 2 or 3 hours. I didn't even have to leave the house. And I thank God for that. And then I put it on. I put some on last night after I got it. And of course, I slept pretty well. And then today, I put some on, because they're almost completely gone now. Almost completely gone. And I put some on today, and then I got sleepy. And I said, And so I had to have Alexa to, time me and everything so I could wake up on time. And then I woke up, I said, why am I so sleepy? Then it came to me and said, Benadryl. Because Benadryl it makes some people drowsy, right?
Yes.
And so I said, so that's what it is. So anyway, now I have it figured out. So, but anyway, they're almost gone, because I said, I don't know about that. I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
Oh, let me turn this off. For the desire. Let me turn this off. So I'll go ahead and get into mine. I've had enough preliminary talk. So mine is culture shock. What is culture shock? Let me go ahead and go and can you hear the music going in the background?
I just heard it just now.
Is it too loud?
No.
Okay, that's the radio station's going. I have it going too. My radio station, I have it up, And so anyway, if it gets too loud, let me know, please. So that's S Polk Radio on, let me see, cupcake.citrus3.com/public, I think, and then the /Polk, I believe that's Polk. So just go to cupcake.citrus3.com and ask for type in S Polk Radio. We have some good music on there, everybody. Some great music on there. I put point of view on there. Sometimes you'll hear a point of view on there. Sometimes you hear some messages on there. So anyway, I thank you all for supporting me. And one of the superintendents of the Church of God in Christ, and as a matter of fact, he's a national executive in the Church of God in Christ. The other night, he messaged me and told me he was trying to get to the radio station.
Turn it down just a
And
little
so,
bit.
okay, and then I talked through it. Well, by the time I got on there, how to get there, then he had already gotten to it. I said, oh, thank you, Lord. So, hey, it's Folk Radio. Okay, now, Rita, you want to talk about your purses now or after?
Oh, no, I didn't bring any in here.
Okay, but still, you have, tell the people your brands. Your basic brand is what?
Louis Vuitton, Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my go-to. Those are the ones that sell the most. But I also have Fendi.
Mm-hmm.
I have some Celine on my page. So just go on Clee's Boutique for the unique or authentic luxury bag emporium on Facebook. Wow. And you will see all the different brands on every. We have Chanel, Gucci, Fendi, Louis Vuitton. I got a lot of Louis Vuitton. I got Louis Vuitton briefcase, got Louis Vuitton luggage, I got Louis Vuitton bags. I have all of it. So if you're looking for something for Christmas, hit your girl up. I got
all right.
Discount if you mention this. Discount if you're missing this show. If you mention this show, you get a discount.
Woo-wee. Better hurry up, everybody, because they do sell fast.
Yes,
and when she said authentic, one time somebody asked me about it. I said, yes, they're authentic. I said, yes. This is what do you call this, knockoff stuff? This is the real deal. The real deal. And I have two of them and a wallet. I have what do I have, Cleve?
Gucci.
Okay. Gucci. And the wallet is the wallet Gucci too? I
think the wallet is a Prada.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Uh-huh. And I like Gucci. And you don't sell Coach?
No.
Oh, okay.
But anyway. Not Coach or Michael Kors. I have them, but I don't sell them.
Okay. But
I put them on my page the other day because it was Cyber Monday, so I just tried to sell those to get them out. But
okay. All right. So hey, those are our plugs, everybody. And so just go to Clee's page. Say it one more time, Rita, and you'll say it again before we go.
Authentic Luxury Bag Emporium on Facebook.
Authentic Luxury Bag Emporium.
Uh-huh.
All right. So what is culture shock? My goodness. We're getting down here.
Clee's Boutique for the Unique LLC. I am a company. Hello.
All right.
I am a company. Hello.
I'm so happy, sister. I am so happy and proud. I am. So I'm going to go into the culture shock. I'm going to pull my tablet around here. And there are some stages of culture shock. But let me, like they talk about moving to a different country, a different region or whatever, and then where the culture, the habits of the people and their patterns of life and everything are different from where the person comes from. And so what is culture shock? Culture shock is a feeling of disorientation experienced, and this is in nowhealth.com. So it said that culture shock is the feeling of disorientation experienced by someone. Look. experienced by someone when they are suddenly subjected to an unfamiliar culture and way of life. It can be caused by a range of things, both big and small, such as unfamiliar greetings and hand gestures, strange food, difficult language barriers, getting lost in a new city, or making a cultural faux pas because you didn't know the local custom. This unfamiliarity can lead to symptoms such as confusion, anxiety, frustration, and loneliness, and homesickness. It can even lead to physical symptoms such as insomnia as a result of time zone changes, or colds and stomach bugs due to the unfamiliar foods and bacteria. And so it has a lot, that culture shock takes in a lot. And also, I've experienced culture shock right here in the United States. I remember one time we went on a church trip, and we stayed, my Lan and I don't think I had Mike here then. I wasn't Mike. It was one of my children. Anyway, we stayed at the house, when the church would travel and stay in the house with the other church people. And so I stayed in this house with these two women, but it was different because some people were knocking on the door late at night. I mean, coming to the house late at night, and I couldn't sleep. And then my child was crying. I think it was my child was crying and crying. My child couldn't sleep either because I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to that.
What were they coming to the house?
Huh?
Why were they coming to the house? You didn't try to check it out?
It was some man came knocking on the door, and evidently they knew him. So anyway, I couldn't sleep. My child just cried and cried and cried almost all night long. Almost all night long. It was a culture shock. It was different from what we were used to. And so I said, I never, ever, like Cleester, you remember was our psychology teacher said, never, ever.
Never, ever.
Never, ever.
Never, ever.
I said, I never, ever want to be in a predicament like that again, because we couldn't sleep. I was ready to get out of that woman's house. Okay, so culture shock stages. Many researchers have written about culture shock, and it's widely recognized that there are 4 different stages to the process. There's the honeymoon stage, there's a negotiation stage, there's the adjustment and adaptation. So we can find out more about each stage as we go, the honeymoon stage. And so this was different for me, but there are different stages you go through. And so I probably went through every last one of them in a few hours because I wasn't used to that atmosphere. And that was a different atmosphere. So to me, that's like a different culture because they did things differently than what I thought saints should be doing things. And then you just don't know. You understand what I'm saying? You just don't know, but it might have been a one-time thing and or whatever. You just don't know because Satan, and I'm going to say this, Satan, it could have been totally innocent. You know what but Satan can magnify things. And he will try to cloud your mind and make you think it's something else, but it's still, I couldn't sleep. My child couldn't sleep. It was a scary situation to me. And then we went to a different town too, and then in different people's houses. I knew one of the women, but the other woman whose house it was, I didn't know her. And so the things that were happening while we were there, they were scary to me. And my child evidently. And the main thing is my child could not sleep, and my child was crying. And that right there to me was a danger signal. When your child can't rest like that, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It might be feeling something. And so I couldn't sleep. So that was like a shock to me. And I was right down the road of almost, 70 something miles from home.
Wow.
And so I don't think I ever told our pastor about that, but I didn't go back there again to that house. Okay. So the honeymoon stage, there's some different stages. So if we go to different countries, And then if there are people who come over here and they have a different culture, just like when I was my well, somebody I know worked with a guy from England.
Mm-hmm.
And so that guy he was from a different culture. And so one thing that uh, he told me, the guy that worked with him said that this guy, like if we belch, that
Uh,
you must excuse me, like that. But then that he said in that culture, a belch was worse than flatulence. Flatulence,
okay.
was
Yeah, I
more
know what you're saying.
accepted than belching. And that was a part of that culture. And then there's some cultures we know where women don't shake the men's hands. The men don't extend the hands to the ladies. In fact, and over here we just used to, if you shake my hand, but now we're very careful about it now. And it
Uh-huh.
used to be where people like to, kiss you, and some people like to kiss you on the lip, kiss you on the jaw. But I stopped that stuff a long time ago. I sure did, because hey, you don't know what's traveling where. So anyway, so there's the honeymoon stage in the culture shock. So the honeymoon stage is the first stage of culture shock, and it can often last for several weeks or even months. And this is based on travel, like if you move to another country or something. But this also can be if you move to another town, move to another, understand what I'm saying?
Right,
So this
right.
is a euphoric phase when you're fascinated by all the exciting and different aspects of new life, from the sights and smells to the pace of life and cultural habits. Like if you go to a different part of town in your city, where there are different cultures, and that dominate different regions in town. It's different. The smell is different.
All
The side, the core of the area is different. It's a different culture. And then they expect you to respect their culture, just like we expect them to respect our culture. But then look at us. Our culture was stripped from us. But then that's when I'm going to go to this forced assimilation. Okay. But
right.
during the phase, you're quick to identify similarities between the new culture and your own. You find the locals hospitable and friendly. You may even find things that would be a nuisance back home, such as traffic jam, amusing and charming in your new location, because it would be different. However, unfortunately, the honeymoon period must always come to an end. Always come to an end. So number two stage in uh, cultural shock is next is the negotiation stage, which is characterized by frustration and anxiety. This usually hits around the 3-month mark, although it can be earlier for some individuals. As the excitement gradually disappears, you are continually faced with difficulties or uncomfortable situations that may offend or make you feel disconnected. And that can be like if you go visit another person's house. Everybody has their own set of rules. And then you could go and visit them, and they might do things totally different from what you do in your home. And they might be kind of confusing for you, but then you'll be in their home. So then first you go to the honeymoon stage of visiting. Now you go to the negotiation stage. You might feel disconnected in another person's home. The simplest of things may set you off. Maybe you can't remember the way back to your new home because the street signs are confusing, or you can't fathom how and what to order in a restaurant. At this point, you also start to miss your friends. I'm thinking about something else Davis did. Okay, you start to miss your friends and family back home and idealize the life you had there. So this is often when physical symptoms can appear, and you may experience minor health ailments as a result of the transition. You may not find the locals so friendly anymore, and you express feelings of confusion, discontent, sadness, and even anger. I remember and I'm not saying this lightly, but like I said, you can have a culture shock. You can be shocked right in your own hometown.
Oh,
Right,
hello.
right. So
Yes, yes.
somebody invited us to eat one time, Elder Davidson and me. And so when we got there, the lady had she was preparing and everything. So when we sat down, it was only like vegetables, like a salad. And so Elder David said, "Where's the meat?" And I'm sitting there like, Elder David. So, you know, you don't have to.
I would have loved to have been there. I would have made it no better.
And I was trying my best to, keep my composure because I'm thinking the same thing. Where is the meat? But then we don't know what the situation was or if that was really how she intended to feed, because she invited us, but it was just like a light salad, like. And Elder David said, "Where's the meat?" We didn't get any meat.
Did y'all ever get any meat?
We didn't get any meat. That's all we had. And you know what? That could have been all they had. It could have been. I don't know.
They invite y'all over, they ain't gonna feed y'all but like rabbits.
I have no earthly idea. But hey, that was their home.
Maybe they were vegetarians.
Anyway, we didn't get any meat that day. And then you don't make light of it, because when the parishioners ask you, we appreciated everything.
Of course.
We appreciate everything the parishioners did for us. I appreciate it so much. And it was just different. And so we had to adjust to that, to the fact that we were just eating some kind of salad. And it was a very light salad, but then we don't know what the situation was. And so we went on, and after El Davis, he realized, then he went on and we ate and everything, and we really appreciate it, because I feel like I should, but I'm not going to try to explain it any deeper, because all our parishioners know that we appreciated them and honored them. Now, some people try to make things more, just one person in particular, but anyway, so you have to get used to, whenever you go into anybody's home, you go to a different country, whatever, you have to get used to whatever custom, whatever they do in their home. So now, the adjustment stage. Thankfully, this phase will come to an end as you begin to move into the adjustment phase, usually at around 6 to 12 months. So this is the stage where life gradually starts to get better and routine sets in. So I'm talking about like when you move to a different country, okay? But then, like just being in somebody else's home, you have to get ready and get adjusted quick, fast, and in a hurry, because you have to do the honeymoon phase. First, you're in a different environment. You're on somebody else's territory. Then you have to you have to do that right quick. Then you have to go to the negotiation stage, and now you have to do the adjustment stage. So this phase will come to an end as you begin to move into the adjustment phase. And so usually around 6 to 12 months, you begin to get your bearings. And so we had to get our bearings real quick, because I had to adjust myself so that I wouldn't be tickled at Elder Davis, because he was serious and he wasn't being mean or anything. He just wanted to know where
them two old ladies on that commercial, where's the beef?
And Elder Davis, if Elder Davis wanted to know something, he would ask. And he just wanted to know, where's the meat?
Hey, Doc, where the meat?
but we went ahead and whatever.
And
We
they like rabbits.
we adapted. We adapted and just went on, and we were thankful for it.
Oh my
So finally, you reach the adaptation stage,
God.
sometimes known as the cultural stage. So you may still experience some difficulties at this stage. I'm talking about the adjustment stage, but you're now able to handle them in a more rational and measured way. And I remember when we went to El Paso, and Mildred took us over to Mexico, Juarez, and it was totally different over there. And so, and those people were like, they let us go through across the border. But then when we got ready to go out, they were underlay. They were rushing us out of there. And we had to rush out because they wanted us out of there. And then that's when Juarez had that uprising, whatever happened there, and people could go in and out of there for a while. And so they rushed it under. They told us to get out of there, and we got out of there. And so one while I got separated from Mama, and then they had all these little hut-like things, where people be selling stuff.
Yeah.
And so they just lined up. And so Mama got out of Mama's side. You could hear Mama, Shirley, all over the place until I appeared. She didn't want to get her daughter lost over there. So we went a totally different culture, a totally different environment. And so finally, the adaptation stage, and it's known as bicultural sometimes, you no longer feel isolated and lonely and are used to your new daily activities. That's if you stay in that environment long enough. If you go to a person's house, like if you stay there 2 or 3 days, you eventually adapt. You have to adapt to their rules, regulations, and whatever they do at their home in order to stay there and be peaceful and try to be as comfortable as you possibly can. So that's the adaptation stage. So you no longer feel isolated when you could, but then you have to make the best of what you got, the best of the situation.
Right.
Now, so while you may never get back to the heightened euphoria you felt during the honeymoon stage, you've now gained a strong sense of belongings and finally feel at home in a new environment. So, number 5, re-entry shock. It is also important to know that there can be a 5th stage of this process. Re-entry or reverse culture shock can happen once you return home after living abroad or somewhere else for a little while, or after visiting, because like when you go to somebody's house and their house might be real big and and fancy and just oh man, just big and all of that, just super. And then you stay there for a few days and you get used to that and not being ungrateful. And then you come back and we don't have little houses, but maybe our house wasn't near as big as that house and it's spacious. And you come back, we have to get used to ours again, not regretfully, because I'm thankful for my home and I know you are too. Because we do, so we do all right.
We all right.
Huh?
We all right.
So
Shirley,
you make.
Yeah, I mean, this ain't nothing, but Pickles heard you talking, right?
Uh-huh.
She came in here and she sat right there. She's been sitting right there ever since you started talking. And
Hello,
she doesn't
Pickles?
sit there.
Oh, hello, Pickles.
I think she wanted to talk.
Can we see her? Is it too much to move?
No. There she is.
Go down just a little bit. Oh, hi, Pickles.
Uh-oh, got the wrong one. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I see her. And she doesn't usually.
No.
Wow. Well, I told you. She took over the conversation. She tried to take over PJ's voice message that he sent me the other day.
Well, she took over our conversation.
She did. Yes, she did.
Took over our conversation.
Yes, she did. I tell people I'm a pet person, an animal person. So next, you may quickly realize that things are very different from when you left and feel like you no longer belong as your family, friends, and even your hometown have changed and moved on without you. And so that's like Uh-huh. So that's how you, is that how you feel when you come to Denison or whatever?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes,
Uh-huh.
it is.
Uh-huh. So you might find yourself saddened that your newly learned customs and traditions are not applicable to your home country, and you have to go through the whole process of adjustment and adaptation all over again. So, like it or not,
That's
culture shock is an intrinsic part of living abroad or living somewhere else or visiting somewhere else. So, it's best to acknowledge the inevitability of it and prepare yourself to adapt as quickly as possible. In some
amen.
situations we're put in and we have to adapt like lickety split
Yep,
because we
yep.
find ourselves in some situations that we really didn't expect to be in, but we have to make the best of it. So remember that it's normal. Remember the most experts, I guess, go through it. It's a EXPATS. So I think that might be a typo. Culture shock is not a sign that anything is wrong. It's part of the expatriate experience, and eventually you will be able to look back on this process with fond memories. And like that first one, that wasn't a fond memory. But anyway, I remember it. You've been given the opportunity to live in a different part of the world or a different town, a different state, or somewhere, and experience different cultures and traditions. Both the good and the bad are all part of the adventure. And I even look at the church and some songs that we sing in our region, they sing them differently and sometimes even with different words in another region.
Yes, yep,
Just things like
yes.
that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yep.
just things like that. So, number two, make your own space. Now, traveling light is good, but leave a space in your suitcase for a few luxuries that will help you to personalize your new home if you go in there to live or something. Your favorite cushion or a framed picture can make a big difference to your space and help you feel at home more quickly. Build yourself a safe haven that you can come back to when it all gets to be a bit too much. Then keep an open mind. One of the most effective ways of dealing with culture shock is to keep an open mind. I think I said that earlier, I don't know. And welcome the surprising experience as they arise. The surprising experiences. Commit to saying yes as much as possible. Oh, yes, gonna run right into
Let's
accept
tell that
invitations
I'm telling them to say no.
accept invitations to events, eat strange food, offer to help out a new friend, and discover your new homes, cultures, and traditions for yourself. Because, like, if you go somewhere for even 3 days or a week or 2 weeks, that's your temporary home. So you
Yep.
got to adapt and you got to adjust. You got the honeymoon period, you got the adjustment period, and all of that. Okay. So because you got to abide by, if it's a hotel, they have rules,
Yep.
or whatever. They have rules. So, all right. Number, commit to saying yes. And then, of course, you should also use common sense. There you go. And be sure to stay safe, healthy, and not push yourself too hard. Because even when you go to a different culture, you don't know whether you might be allergic to the food. You don't know whether you might be allergic to something that might be in your room, in the place you're staying, or whatever. So you really
Yep.
have to be careful.
Yeah.
Explore.
Yes. Yes.
Try to avoid hiding away too much. Get out there. Now, I like to explore. So feel free to live the tourist life. A great way of doing this is via public transportation. Ride around the city with your camera or commit to visiting a new place every day, even if it's simply a quick turn down a street on your way home. Yeah, it had to be a quick one because if you don't know where you are, you don't be turning down some streets.
Sure don't.
Because
Sure.
some streets you don't, if you're not familiar with the territory. Okay. Oh no. I'll be back. Go ahead, Reedy.
Dang. Shit, put me on it. Threw me under the bus. Okay. Mine is the psychology of why some people can't say no. Being unable to say no can be a huge financial problem. Are you at risk? Here's how to save yourself a lot of grief and potentially a lot of money. As kids growing up, my sister and I, this is from Kiplinger.com by Dennis Beaver, Esquire. And he says, as children growing up, children, whatever. Shirley doesn't like kids. She said it's goats, children. But as kids growing up, my sister and I could never understand why my parents always helped with church activities, to the extent that almost every weekend was occupied with major time-consuming tasks. Often we could hear them complain about feeling used, but we never heard them say no. Also, they tend to believe and trust everyone. Once buying a $3,000 vacuum cleaner from two door-to-door salesmen, claiming it would purify the air in their home. They still have door-to-door salesmen? They're not going to mind though. We were able to unwind that sale under the 3-day cooling off law. This behavior has always appeared to us as not normal, but what happened last week has us even more concerned. Shirley?
I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry about the noise from my chair.
Oh, is that what they is?
Uh-huh.
Excuse me, I didn't hear it no way, but okay.
Okay.
They went to Las Vegas for a deeply discounted weekend at a nice resort, attending a timeshare presentation, and bought one for $30,000. They are both in their late 70s. When we heard about this, immediately we drove them to the post office and sent it in the cancellation form. What they gonna do with time time sharing and they in their late 70s? What they gonna do with it? Will it to somebody? Mom and dad seem to like internal warning alarms. Why couldn't they say no? Surely psychological defense mechanisms that aren't working properly could be corrected. Thanks for your insights. Signed, Concerned Kids in Denver, Colorado. Happy that our parents didn't buy the Paris Eiffel Tower in Las Vegas. I put the question to a friend in this column, psychology professor Louis Vega of California State University in Bakersfield, in October of 2020, and he was a source being for my article. From the evolutionary perspective, while some people have developed strong defenses to fend off predatory attacks, and that is what it is, they're scammers. They are scammers. Most of those time-sharing places are scams. I get them all the time, but you got to go there and you got to spend money to stay there in order to do the time sharing. I'm smarter than that. Hey, no. Which is the safest way of viewing, for example, timeshare sales presentations routinely conducted by con artists. Many have not. These predators are opportunists. Much as we see in the savannah, how lions isolate the young, the old, the injured, is the exact same thing when these two vacuum cleaner salesmen or timeshare crooks have at you. That's what they do. They isolate you because they know they got a sure thing. I ain't gonna say a sucker. I didn't want to say that. My brother says, "Sketch a sucker bump his head." He used to have Philip doing some crazy stuff because he'd catch a sucker, bump his head. I'm telling you, Michael used to have Michael be in the car, and he still hit that light, and the light would come back on, but Michael in the car turned the light off. Philip did it again. Philip hit the light, Michael turned it back on. I said, Michael, what you doing? The kitchen sucker bump his head. Philip just beating on the little car. And Michael turned on. So I hate this phone. I really do. I hate this phone sometimes. Because
Oh, it's slowing down on you?
Yeah, it cut completely off. It turned completely off.
Oh, okay.
It turned completely off.
Oh, it's timing out.
Yes.
Okay.
The whole thing. Yep. It turned off again.
Reset it. Not right. Anyway,
I don't know how. Thank you.
Yeah, go into your settings, but don't.
I have to get my grandson to do that kind of stuff. Just like I
Yeah,
got that new tablet yesterday. I got a new tablet yesterday in the mail. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it.
a new what?
A new tablet.
Oh, okay.
I got a new tablet yesterday. And
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know how to do that kind of stuff. My grandson have to do that. Okay. Okay. They bought the $30,000 home. Okay. Let's go. Okay, there we go. Okay, I already told you about the professor, about the evolutionary, for example, timeshare, the sales presidential con artists. These predators are opportunists. Much of the Savannah Lions. Okay, I did all that. Salesman, timeshare, crooks, you hired. Okay, you are. There we go. There we go. If we imagine ourselves in those terms, we should be prepared to say no and avoid dangerous situations.
Mm-hmm.
We need to put mind and not heart to work for us. So why don't we? Why can't people acknowledge that it is truly a jungle out there, unable to imagine themselves in the savannah, walking into the lion's den, right up to the pack of dang it turned off again.
Just take your time.
The phone turned off. Look at it. Look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it went completely left. Were you done?
No.
Or you keep going?
You gonna come back to yours?
Yeah, I'll come back to it because I gotta find it first. It's so stupid.
Okay, so I'll go to the conclusion of.
Now you turned off. Ain't nothing working today, Lord Jesus. Pray for us, Father. Father, help us tonight, Father. Shirley, are you there? She went off too. Well, anyway, y'all, I'm going to try to find this and we can wrap this up because this is just not working for me. If I can find it. Okay, why we can't say no. I think sometimes when I thinking for myself, I'm one of those people that hate to say no. If I can help you, I'm gonna help you. I really hate to say no, but now I ain't gonna spend no $30,000 on timeshare. But if I can help you, and if I feel like if I say no, that it hurts somebody's feelings. That's the way I feel, and I think a lot of people feel like that. If they say, "Well, now I can't do it," then it hurts somebody's feelings. That's the way I feel about it. I ain't gonna be no line and walk no line, then I'm gonna tell you straight up like that. But I just feel that that's why some people can't say no, because there's a mechanism in their brain that think that you're hurting somebody else's feelings when they know you can help them, but you say no. And they know you can help them. You know you can help them, but you say no. You say no for yourself, not for them. But still, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Just me. Okay, why can't some people acknowledge there's truly a jungle out there, unable to imagine themselves in the savannah, walking into the lion's den, right up to the pack of hyenas, and letting them smell their weakness? Much has been written on the impact of religion, socialism, and skepticism. Lawyers see the result when con artists prey on people of faith. Where'd you go?
My phone, I had my light close to my phone and it overheated my phone and the phone went off. It overheated.
Yes, it did.
So
Because
now,
I was just talking to you. Okay.
but I'm on
Okay.
I'm on the laptop now.
Okay, we are taught to believe and to trust, making an easy victim of affinity and fraud scams that target specific demographics such as evangelical Christians or the elderly. That's who gets scammed the most. Scammed the most, the elderly. They think because you're older that you can't think. There's a lot of sharp old people out there. But I tell you, it's just not corporate America. Corporate America scams the elderly. And they send you bills and you think you owe that bill, but a lot of the elderly people, they know, okay, I pay loans, I pay TP and TP. Do they still have TP in there, girl?
Oh, you talking about the light company?
Yeah. Do they still have TP in there? Do they still have?
No.
I don't know.
There's so many different ones.
Okay, but they know that, and then they'll get a light bill for $1,000 and they'll pay it. Yes. Instead of calling to say, why is my bill so high, they'll pay it.
Right.
I don't understand that. They send me $1,000 light bill. They're gonna hear me. I'm gonna be at the company when they open up. Look here, partner. Hey. Okay, Bernard Madoff built billions of dollars out of thousands of fellow Jews in the largest Ponzi scam in history. Did you ever hear about that one?
Oh yeah.
Oh, did you see the movie? He didn't have nothing. He had nothing. He had a man in the office, and it wasn't even an office. It was like an upstairs attic, and he was headed up there writing out stuff on paper. He didn't even have none of that stuff they was buying. And those people were greedy, and he knew they were greedy, and therefore he was taking advantage of all of them until he got all his time in jail. I don't know if he is or not. I thought he died like last year. I'm not really sure.
Did I hear that he did? But you know what? I bet. Well, anyway.
I don't think they got all. Well, it did cost him a lot because one of his sons killed himself trying to prove his innocence because he thought somebody should let him know that we were apologetic for what happened. So he killed himself in order to let the people know that he really didn't have anything to do with it. That's because sad. Those people were suing their children. Their children were 4 and 5, 6 years old, and some of them were suing their children. Bernie's grandchildren. Some of those people were suing his grandchildren, children's children, and they had nothing.
If they got an inheritance, if they got an inheritance when they got grown, they would be getting the money.
I don't know how that worked, but the children weren't but 4 and 5 years old, and they were suing them then.
Wow.
They were bringing lawsuits against those children then. Their parents and then the children. Okay, that I don't understand how they put the children, but they did. In many instances, it is a complacency of a blind mind. Sorry, not mice. He replied, adding, while no one comes out and directly says, let your heart dictate economic decisions, emotions influence our financial decisions making abilities. Yep, that's where it is. We are schooled from an early age to show sympathy for the person who needs to make that one sale in order to keep their job, even though intellectually we do not believe them. That's true. I just need this one sale. Boss said if I don't sell today, I'm gonna lose my job. I've seen that pulled too many times, and they don't need it.
If they don't do what? If they
don't make this sale today, they're gonna lose their job. That's one of the scams that the people use on other people. Like a salesman call you and they tell you, if I don't make this sale, because my quota's down this year, and if I don't make this sale, I'm gonna lose my job. Boss, and they're the top seller. That's how they get sale top, playing with people's sympathy.
You remember when those people used to come around selling magazines of those children, those students around?
Yes, in the white shirts, yes. I do remember that. They used to have they came around here on up until last year.
Wow, they probably still out there
on up until last year. Yes, they working their way through college, and then they have doing alarm systems.
Okay,
working their way through college. Yes, because they say if they're working your way through college, then you'll help them more.
And they say their way through college. And they say some of the living conditions while they're traveling have those children traveling out there hustling are awful.
Yes. Yep. Picking them up in the van on one end of the street.
Yeah.
Yes. Drop them off at one corner, and I'll meet y'all 30 blocks down this way. And yeah, yes, they do. They do that. And they do that. And some of it is a scam to make money for the person driving the van.
Yes,
And
I believe
those
it.
boys and girls know they're not selling anything. They know they're not selling anything, but they got that sales pitch and they making they little money. They make $10, $15 a day, and the person in the van getting most of the money because a lot of people have you pay them up front. Okay, we don't believe them. Don't need nor want what they're selling, but feel it is wrong to hurt their feelings by refusing to buy. That's what I'm saying. If I tell somebody no, and I really do hate to tell somebody, I had to learn that the hard way to tell people no though. But it makes me feel like I'm hurting somebody's feelings when you
Right.
tell them no, and then they get that look on your face, and it hurts my feelings to hurt their feelings. Yes, we can learn how to say no. To Vega put the challenge into getting people to not to cave in the fear of consequence of a no is in thinking a salesperson as predators and not people we can trust. You need to accept this broad generalization in order to protect yourself because they see us as prey, hunt us in calculating ways, smell our weakness, being nice, old, lonely, isolate us from the pack, and don't want us to speak with family or experts, and they will devour us.
Yeah.
Hello, that's yep. By seeing ourselves as potential victims, this shall help us use our senses, considering it is a matter of survival to avoid them. Vega admits that the predator prey analogy is primal, and while it overrides our humanity, it is a balance, especially an aging population must get used to. That's what I'm talking about. The older people, because those are the ones that's getting taken advantage of. I get phone calls every day talking about I done won this, but if I won this, just send $10 and they can overnight it to me. And I won this amount of money. And if I just all they need is my bank account number and routing number, so they can yes. I said, but give me yours, and then I just go from yours to mine. Just go ahead and give me yours. Then we can fix this. They don't want to do that either. Okay, aging, especially it is balanced, especially an aging population that gets used to, whereas many salespeople are profiteers, dehumanizes us by treating us like animals, so they maximize their profit. They are true animals in the negative connotation of the word. Hello. He suggests these steps to follow. One, recognize the trap being set by the free dinner you've been offered, discounted 3 days vacation, or similar deal. Your pleasure is not their priority, but their gain. Two, the minute we accept this invitation,
What's up, Reedy?
It's stopped again. It's okay. Go ahead. The minute we accept this invitation, we're doomed, is what they saying. Okay, I'm done. That was the end of it anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, that's wonderful. I just didn't want it to be so short. But you were
We
going
ain't
on while
got
I
but
was
a few minutes.
trying to get myself together here.
I know it because my phone just died. I know why I was writing it down. Paper
So
didn't let
you
me
didn't
down.
so you didn't write it down
Uh-uh.
this time.
No, I used the phone. I didn't write it down. I usually take my time and write it. But this time I didn't write it.
Okay, I'm going to go to the forced assimilation. And so what I'm talking about is that what happened?
Jennifer said, hey, mom, my favorite aunt.
I saw that, yes. And this forced assimilation. And you remember how how they did us, our dominant ethnicity, Africans, when they went over to our homeland and they forced us over here, and then they got us over here even on the boats and everything. As history tells us, they didn't want us to speak our own language.
Yep.
They took our clothes off and all of that stuff and forced us to wear their kinds of clothes. And then we got here, they didn't want us speaking our own language, didn't want us practicing our own culture. So what they did is they forced us to be like them.
Yes.
So we
You couldn't. They
really
couldn't even use their own names. They had to change their names.
changed their names too, and
Yeah.
completely stripped them, most of them, 99 point probably 5% of them, of their ethnicity, their homeland, background, and everything. So if a state puts extreme, and this is from Wikipedia, if a state puts extreme emphasis on a homogeneous national identity, it may resort, especially in the case of minorities originating from historical foes, to harsh, even extreme measures to exterminate the minority culture, sometimes to the point of considering the only alternative is physical elimination, meaning by expulsion or genocide. If they can't shape you into what they want you to be, they'd rather kill you
That's
than
right.
for
They
you to
should.
be
Yep.
what you
That,
want to be. And that's still
that's right.
happening in this day and
And
time, right here
yes,
in the
yes it
United
is.
States. They
Yes
brought
it
us
is.
from Africa, then our Native American people right here in the United States. They took their children, forced them to took the children away from their parents because they said these people that went over dominating and taking the land and all that, the parents aren't good enough, they're raising them, they're savages and all that. The people had their own culture, they were striving and surviving, had been striving and surviving ever since the creation and everything. But then these superior minded, remember, superior
Yes.
minded
Yes. Yes.
people, well, they have to be like us, we're going to make them be like us, so they're going to have to dress like us, and took those children, put them in those schools, mistreated them.
Yep.
They raped them, they beat them, boys and girls. They did all
Yep.
kinds of ungodly things to these people
Mm-hmm.
and shaped them into what they wanted to be. Cut the boys' hair and all that kind of stuff. Cut their hair so they could look like them and all that. That's what I'm talking about today. And so they will either exterminate, and those who they couldn't shape, they would kill them.
That. That. Uh-huh.
So
Yep.
states, mostly based on the idea of nation, perceived the presence of ethnic and linguistic minorities as a danger to their own territorial integrity.
Yep.
In fact, minorities could claim their own independence or to be rejoined with their own motherland. They didn't want that to happen. They wanted to dominate any and everybody.
Yep.
So the
Yep.
consequence was the weakening or disappearing of several ethnic minorities. Forced migrations took place after each of the two world wars. And we look at the Japanese, when they came over, they put them in camps, the Chinese and all of it's just so awful when people think they're so much better than the other people.
Yep.
Everybody should be like
Yep.
me. You got to walk like me, talk like me, look like me. So the latter half of the 19th century and the first half of the 20th century saw the rise of nationalism. Previously, a country consisted largely of whatever peoples lived on the land that was under the domination or dominion of a particular ruler. Thus, as principalities and kingdoms grew through conquest and marriage, a ruler could wind up with peoples of many different ethnicities
Mm-hmm.
under his dominion. So, this
Mm-hmm.
also reflected the long history of migrations of different tribes and peoples through Europe. And even the difference, you see how all of those were they Haitians? Who were those people that were here in Texas? And there were thousands and thousands of them just a few months ago
Oh,
under the bridge, living under that highway, I think. And they took those people. Now, other ethnicities, they would bring most of them in and set them up with foster care and all of that, or put them in different places. Because we still have some, I think, that they're providing shelter for of different ethnicities. But when those dark-skinned people moved in here, they put those people on the planes and sent them back to where they thought they came from. So, furthermore, nationalism asserted that each people had a right to its own nation. Much of European history, as the latter half of the 19th century and the first half of the 20th century, can be understood as efforts to realign national boundaries with this concept. So, what I'm going to go do, I'm going to stop reading here. I'm going to go by my memory of history, how they came here to America. They infected with the nasty cells, infected the tribal Native Americans with all kinds of old nasty diseases and all of that.
Mhm.
Came over and killed them and dominated them, took their land and moved them around and moved them around and moved them around. Every time they would settle somewhere and make good of where they were, then
Yep.
they, oh, that's some good land. So they did
Yep.
good there. So what we're going to do, we're going to go and take that land and
Mhm.
move them somewhere else. And everywhere they would go, they would make good of that land. And then they would go in and move them again. Oh,
Yep.
that's some good land over there. When they thought the land was no good, and the people
Mhm.
made the land good for them,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
thrived and survived, and then they said, "Oh, that's some good land. We'll move them on." And so
Yep.
now we still have our Native American people of whom we are part of. There's living on reservations and
Right.
in difficult situations and all of that. And they've been promised that they would be taken care of and all that, but they've been
Mhm.
mistreated
Yep.
and they've been trodden down and just humiliated and all of that. And just like the African people that they went over and got and then brought them in and made slaves out of them, how terrible they were to
Yep.
them and still are to anybody who has an inkling of African blood in them. They're still mistreated and they'd rather kill
Yep.
them
Yep.
than for them to thrive and survive, and
Right.
especially with the amount of intelligence we have. And so
Yep.
there are people that's called the what is it, the forced assimilation. Like I think I remember I saw this movie where in Australia they went in and took these children from their parents, just like they did the what American um, natives took them and put them in schools and other housing and stuff, and they did them the same way, mistreated them, made them change the culture, change their dress, change their language, change their hair, all of that kind of stuff because they thought that they were better for them, just took them away from their parents and put them
That
in
just happened. What didn't that just happen last year when
probably.
Trump had those people go in there and take those children away from the Mexican people and put them in that camp, and they said the babies were watching the babies.
Oh yeah, when yeah, that guy that's yeah, when they had all those people in those, yeah. Mm-hmm. They took those children away from their
Took those
parents,
children away from their parents. Yes,
and
they
some
did.
of them will probably never ever see their parents
And
again.
some of them were babies.
Right. And can
Some
you
of them were
imagine the
babies.
mistreatment? And see, I don't trust those people. And I said that is nothing but a camp for predators, child
Yeah.
molesters,
Uh-huh.
all kinds of
Yep.
pedophiles, and
Yep.
all of that. And we got reports that it did happen. It
Yes.
did
Yes.
happen. Once
Yes.
people get control over you, they will do anything they can to pleasure themselves and to satisfy themselves. And it's just a shame. It's just a shame. It's
And they
just
then
a shame.
they
Oh,
know their bosses. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I know. They know that if you go to their boss is gonna back the employee because they're not gonna listen. They're gonna back. I'm telling you what I know, baby, not what I
right,
heard. They
right.
back the employees. Oh no,
That's right.
that's that they didn't want to be here anyway, so they'll make up any kind of excuse to get out of here, any kind of lie. No, it
Mhm.
don't be lies. They just have them people have their back.
That's it.
And
But
those people need to be shot.
let me tell you, let me tell you, people don't believe it, but I've lived long enough, thanks be to God, and I've seen the proof that the scripture is right.
Yes.
Those people think that they're getting away or have
Yes.
gotten away.
Mhm.
But one thing Deacon McKnight always, he would say this almost every time he teach, You might get by, but you won't get away.
Get away. That's it.
And then the Bible tells us, the scripture in that Bible said, be not deceived. God is not mocked.
Hello.
Mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And
Yes.
sometimes it doesn't come to directly to that person. It could go to somebody that they love the
Yep.
most, they cherish and all that. But I'm telling you, that stuff will come back. It will come back. But that forced assimilation, forcing people to adhere to their rules and regulations and change to their culture and all of that, taking their culture away and all of that. Because look at us. Look at us. This is
Yep.
all we know.
Yep.
This is all we know. This culture. Because
Yep.
they took our ancestors and forced them
Yep.
to adapt to the ways. And we've been on here since we're 5 minutes over, almost 6 minutes. But then that cultural shock, it doesn't even have to be out of town. It could be where you could go visit somebody and you've got to make an adjustment period. You got a honeymoon period, you got to get used to it. Then you got to adjust to it, and then you go on down the line. But that forced assimilation, it has been done to so many different races. And then also that what is it, the trafficking? That's human trafficking.
Yes.
The prostitution and all that stuff, that's forced assimilation. They take those people out of their environment. And I've seen so many stories. Everybody, we're gonna sign off in just a few minutes. But
and
I've
they
seen
drug them. They drug them and get them hooked on drugs to make them do what they need them to do.
That's exactly right. And these are little children. I've watched some stories, and like over in some of those eastern countries, they take those little girls and say, I'll be your auntie. And the parents be thinking they're sending their children to work or go to a different country, and many times the United States, to go to school and everything.
Get a better
and then
education.
they get to where they go and they take their visas. They take all of their stuff and enslave those people.
Yes, they do.
And but we are blessed above measure. We are blessed
and
above measure.
They keep them hostage because they'll lock them in their room. They'll work them all day and then they'll lock them in them rooms. So they can't get to nobody.
And no telling what they do to them while they got them all locked up. And some people are enslaved for years and years and years. It's just a low down, dirty shame. But be not deceived, people. God is going to revenge the people. And when it comes, it might not be until the end of the world. But that stuff is going to come back. It's going to hit. It's going to hit. So he tells us to treat people right, treat people as we want to be treated. And we have been blessed. We had great parents.
Amen.
Great, loving parents.
Amen.
They taught us, raised us up to be respectable and respectful people. And I thank God for mom and dad. They didn't send us off and trade us off and all that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, they were so strict.
We can go off.
But thank God for mama and daddy. Thank God for mama and daddy, our loving parents. So Rita, you don't have anything else to say?
No, I don't. But
okay,
hit me up. And you mentioned this program. I'm missing mention S-Poke Radio or this program, and I will give you 20% off.
Oh, yes.
Mention S-Poke Radio or this program, and I'll give you 20% off.
Oh, wow. That's a great deal. Everybody better listen up.
Yes, it is.
All right, Reedy. I love you. And like I said in the beginning, I was so excited that the person, I'm not a name dropper, but I did drop that one, didn't I? Was trying official in the Church of God Christ was finding looking for a radio station. Hallelujah. And then found it and said, I'm listening to this operator, and he said, is that it? I said, that is it. It made me feel so good. Made me feel so good. But people, I don't know what people think I don't know whether they think it's a little haphazard, rinky-dink thing, but it's for real. It's for real. And so right now, and I put a message on there, and then I had Point of View, one of our segments on there yesterday, all day yesterday. So, Reedy, I love you. I love you, everybody.
Love you.
And have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Rita Theta. I love you.
Joe Carolyn.
Hello, everybody. Joe, and there's somebody else. Oh,
it was
Yolanda.
Yolanda, Rodney and
Yeah.
Yolanda.
Thank you.
Joe Carolyn, Jennifer Theta. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Okay.
Yes.
God willing, I'll see you Sunday morning. And oh yes, Reedy, I'm going to do this morning. It came to me to do a segment. I'm going to do a show of grief and grieving.
Oh yeah.
Because
we
the older
that.
yes, we need it. And I'm going to bring some people in, and there might bring some people in with us to be on it. It's going to be at a special time. Because at our ages, as we are now, as we're progressing in age, our years are coming up on us, we're going to see more of the transitioning into eternity. And if it's God's will that we don't make it alive to Judgment Day, we're going to be one of those. And so there's so many of our people who don't get a chance to just really talk about it. They really can't talk about it, but what I want is for them to come on here and just talk about it, because I want to know how you feel. I've always had a desire to bring all of us together, all of the 8 Polk children. I've been wanting to do this for years, but see, now we're down to 3. I've been wanting to get everybody. I want to set up my camera and just let each one of us tell our feelings when Mom and Daddy left us. But I never got a chance to do it.
No.
Never got a chance to do it. So we're going to have to talk about it, because people need to know.
And that was my next. That was my next subject. How old is too old?
Okay.
So if you're too old for this, you too old for that. How old is too old?
You know how I feel about that.
Me too.
You too.
Don't nothing get over clothes.
That's right. So somebody's hanging in here with us. We love you, everybody, and we'll see you again Tuesday, God willing. And we'll let you know when we're going to do the show on, because I want to have at least 2 counselors, a psychologist, psychiatrist, and a counselor or therapist with us that day also.
All right.
So I want to do it before Christmas, because this is a season when so many people are going to depression and loneliness.
Yes.
And so it needs to be talked about. We as a culture need to discuss it and talk about it, because there are people hurting right now, people who haven't had a chance to grieve. So anyway, I love you, sister.
Love you. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bye, kitty cat.
Pickles. Bye, Pickles.
Pickles. See you later, Pickles.
Okay.
All right. I'm trying to see if I can go off of here. I don't see. Okay. Love you. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Okay.